we're going to click on the umbrella eye so you can see the umbrella. It pops up. We're going to choose the wet light blue and then wet dark blue. So,
no, left cover. I mean, yeah, this kind of off. Yeah. No, left cover, right?
I'm recording now.
Like, so this recording. Oh, sorry.
Okay, now I have to go edit that. Alright, so we noticed that the umbrella is missing some of the splotches over here. It's not as like congruent. To get the splotches, make sure you have all the eyes selected for your layers under umbrella folder. So what we're going to do is go ahead. It tells us the colors that we're going to use. What kind of tool do you think we're going to use? Yes, a brush. So hit the letter B for brush. The directions say that we're going to use a medium blue color is 150, 193, and 219. So go into your Photoshop. Go into your colors right here, your color, and we're going to put in those numbers. 150, hit tab, 193, tab, and 219. Then we're going to go into our swatches. You guys know what swatch is?
No.
Swatch is like you know when you pick up fabric or a couch, they have those little pieces of, it's a sample of the color. Also, swatch is the name of a watch, a really expensive watch. But basically just click on this little new layer button and notice that it created the swatch from our color. You can double click that and you can call it like medium blue, so we'll know what that is. Let's go ahead, choose a brush. For the hardness, go down, make it like less hard, maybe 10%. Take your diameter down. Now, if you go into channels, it's already set up for us. Notice the alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3. They already did that for us. Remember we did that in the tutorial with the bird. We selected and made channels. So what we're going to do is we're going to load selection, and let's go ahead and load alpha 1. Okay. So when we load alpha 1, it basically has this selected. So we're going to like paint with our brush the blue. Okay. But before we paint, we have to bring down our opacity because it's a little bit too much. Our opacity is going to be 15% only. 15%. So opacity 15%. And then we can, when you change the opacity, do not change the opacity here. Keep that with what it was, like 40 something. We're going to change our opacity up here because when we paint it, we don't want to paint it really hard color. We want it to be a soft transparency. So 15%. So now when we paint it, it'll be more transparent.
Looks the same.
Brush. We're going to create a second swatch. The second swatch is going to be dark blue. So let's go ahead and do that. So go ahead to your color, your swatches. The numbers are 132, 143, and 199. Okay, so change the swatches 133. Right. Go to your swatch, hit new swatch. It'll create the new swatch right here. We're going to rename the swatch or double click it and we call it dark blue. And hit OK. So now let's go ahead and paint our umbrella with these two swatches, so you can switch back and forth between these colors and then softly paint that. Also, you notice the lock buttons? The reason why you can't paint over is because they're locked. So you either have to unlock it, or you can just create a new layer on top of it. And we can call this like touch up. And then we can go ahead and make our paint. So switch back and forth between your two colors and try to match the colors. When you're done with one section, go to selection, load selection, and choose alpha 2, hit OK, and do the same thing for this with the darks and the brights. So splatter it over, and Command D to deselect. And one more time, selection, load selection, and alpha 3, OK. Let's go ahead and do that with the two-tone colors. Okay, so we have our umbrella now matched. Next, what we're going to be doing is making the scattered leaves. So we're going to go to our brush options. Go ahead, reset the brushes because the scattered leaves is in the default brush size. Click on brush tip shape and then scroll down and you'll see leaf 74. 74 is the diameter. Now for the directions, it says we're going to use a diameter of 65 and so let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to move this over, move the directions over. So diameter 65. The maple leaf brush. The roundness jitter is going to be 40%. And you'll notice after you change the percentage, the preview will change, and then you can see like what exactly changed in it. For scatter, it's going to be 265%. This is the amount that it's going to scatter across when we make it. The count is 1. So far I have brush shape 74 or 65 pixels for the diameter. My shape dynamics round jitter is 40%. My scatter is 265 with a count of 1. Next fade is 50. Notice in the control under scattered, change that from off to fade and then change that to 50. So notice it fades a little bit better. Also in the shape dynamics fade, we're going to change that to 50 as well.
Wait, can you zoom into your thing, the numbers?
Yeah. So that's what we have so far. So shape dynamics fade 50, round jitter 40%. We're going to name this Leave 65, this brush. At the bottom right, there's this new button. Click on that and call it Leave 65. 65 because that's the size of the brush.